People want to get this twisted and be like employer, employees. That's another form of a partnership.
And we're back. Welcome to the latest episode of Commerce and Chill. I am Jessica Johnson Coe.
I'm Waleed.
Yo, your girl is tired. Not just tired. I'm tired. Like the first half of this year, I have put in work, significant work that recently capped off with a visit to the WeBank National Conference. WeBank stands for the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. It is the largest U.S.-based certifiers of WBE, Women Business Enterprises, in the nation. And they had their first in-person national conference after the COVID pandemic. So, it was in Atlanta at the Atlanta, Georgia World Congress Center. It was humongous. I think one day alone, I walked a total of 15,000 paces. Needless to say, in the time there, I had the opportunity to catch up with a lot of corporate representatives representing companies with whom we would like to do business, both Johnson Security and the Soapbox. And I got to catch up with several old friends, especially friends in the hustle, some of my business besties. So first, I want to start by giving a shout out to LaShante Williams with Davis and Harmon. She is my friend, my church sister, and my sorority sister. And I want to say thank you, sis, for connecting me with one of my business besties, Chanel Christoph Davis. Don't roll your eyes because you know Chanel. That's your homie, too.
I'm not rolling my eyes because you said Chanel.
Why? Can you roll my eyes?
I didn't roll my eyes. First of all, I just looked up at the camera and then I just looked down.
It looked like you were rolling your eyes. Didn't it look like he was rolling his eyes?
I'm just saying. I'm just listening to how you saying you work so hard and you out of breath and you, because you had to go to a WeBank conference and all I saw on social was y'all karaokeing on the microphone in the aquarium. I just saw a group of women singing songs. Like, that don't sound like hard work to me. That sound like hard partying. While they was in Atlanta, what was we doing here? I wonder what Christoph Davis' husband was doing at home. I wonder what I was doing.
I'm going to tell you what Terrell was doing. Terrell was at home.
He was out at the office working.
Doing the work that Chanel was winning in Atlanta.
I feel your pain, Terrell. I was here too. And they in the aquarium, they walking around 15,000 steps, whatever she just said. A day, just in the aquarium, on the microphone, singing and hugging and laughing and cheering and eating food and then sitting down and just talking.
How you think we get the business? Sending up smoke signals? I don't know any. If you won any contract as a result of sending up smoke signals, hit us up in the DM because I got to learn that technique. Because it takes, from my perspective, it takes a lot of walking.
It's easy to get them. It's harder to keep them.
Writing a proposal.
Who doing the work to keep them, ladies and gentlemen? It's easy to get them. Oh, I got some business I want you to do. Can you write a proposal? Okay, here's a proposal. Answer some questions, blah, 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 blah. Then, who's doing the work on the back end? Client complaining. Then the people didn't go to work. This person did this wrong. And then this. And then they say, oh, we want this. We want you to change this. Oh, can you do this? Can you come over here at this? Can you come right now? Can you email me this? Can you tell me this? A proposal, you do it, you done. It's like, oh, I did it, I'm done.
No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, okay.
In my experience,
all I can say is
we write the proposal and then we have to deliver according to what's in the proposal.
You write the proposal. Who's delivering? Who's handling and delivering after the proposal's written?
It's a team. It's a partnership.
Listen, all I gotta say is somebody put a link to some Instagram profiles from WeBank. I saw a lot of singing. I saw a lot of dancing. I ain't seen no checks come back from WeBank. I ain't seen no bags of money come through baggage claim when I was like, you home? So I don't know what was going on. I'm just going to say whatever she say.
Well, the reason that I bring up the WeBank conference and LaShante and
just
Christoph,
make sure when you in business, you balance out your partnership in business.
I was going to talk about
one partner who want the party at the conferences, and you got the other partner who want to do the work in their office. So make sure you balance out your partnerships. And that's today's episode of Commerce and Chill, identifying partnerships, the advantages and disadvantages.
That's not what I was going to say.
I'm Waleed. She's Jessica. I got work to do. She can keep talking. Bye.
I was going to say that one of the benefits of being at the conference with Chanel and Lashante was that we could attack the corporations as a partnership. So the conference floor was divided in different sections. And so we had our respective checklist of target companies.
That sounds like hard work. Conference floor divided up. You're like, that. Which section do I go to first?
We
I'm gonna practice that at the clean show.
We had a strategy of which companies we wanted to see. We had a list of the workshops and receptions that we wanted to attend. And so when we were invited to something, we would say, can I bring a friend or can I bring 2 friends with me? So we always made sure to leverage that invitation for our partners, which really worked out well in a couple of instances. I'll have to report back to you on that. And then it also made it very easy when we were running into people saying, we do this, and this is my girlfriend who has the dopest sales tax advisory practice. Go check her out. And then folks are like, oh, wow, I never thought about that. I could use that kind of service. And she'd be like, this is my girl. She does security. I know you've heard of cybersecurity. She does physical security. Oh, yeah, we need that too. And so we had a strategy and a divide and conquer approach, which we slayed our plans. I would dare say that we both of our firms walked away with opportunities advanced in the sales cycle, wherein we weren't expecting to have leads. We're just like, I'm going to go talk to blah, blah, blah bank, or I'm going to go talk to so-and-so studios. And then blah, blah, blah bank was like, we got an RFP for security coming out. Holla at me on Monday. Real talk, that did happen.
RFP. No, how I feel about those.
You got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, ask people who play lotto and still haven't hit yet. Or when they do hit, they hit for like $7 or $10. And then they take that same $7, $10 and go buy more tickets. Right? You got to be in it to lose it. To scratch off.
Well, that sounds like a partnership that's not winning. You sound like you kind of salty. I'm
not salty. I'm sitting here leaning back practicing for when we switch the partnership roles and I start going to conferences and just writing proposals and then you do the operations. I'm seeing how it feels. I think I'm going to get that Herman Miller chair so I could just lean back a little bit more when I'm doing them proposals because this would be a little more content.
You can do proposals. Nobody's stopping you from doing proposals. I heard that
chair is like $600. But if I write the proposals, I could factor that in.
Nobody's stopping you from writing proposals and nobody's stopping you from going to conferences.
Yeah, but you do the operation, so you stay here, I go. We switch.
Okay.
January 1, 2023.
Okay, if that's what you want.
No, it's just the equal partnership. You know? That's how we do.
So you over here clowning.
I'm clowning.
You talk to the people like for real though. Like I had a really good example, like a really good time, an example working with Chanel and Lashante at the WeBank conference, and we had a winning partnership. Not all partnerships are winning. Can you talk to the folks in Commerce and Chill Land about a partnership that didn't quite work out the way that you wanted it to?
I've had plenty of partnerships, not plenty, but I've been in quite a few partnerships that didn't work out the way I wanted. There's 2 different scenarios for partnerships. There's a partnership where outside of business, and then there's partnerships inside of business.
Okay.
So you could be a partner with someone and you're getting things done and you're super connected. Mm-hmm. Right? You're on the same path. You share a similar mindset. It's almost like when people go into business together and be like founders and co-founders, like they start a business together because there's a lot, not some, but there's a huge synergy there. And not to say that they're the same, they could be totally different. So I guess it's more like talking about almost like strategic partners versus just partners. And then in the business side, I look at partnership where there's a goal or there's some problem or something we're trying to solve, and two different entities come together and be like, if we did this, we could probably get that. Like you talked about this contract that's 25 million, and working with some different companies to say, hey, who has a strength in what? You tackle that part, we'll tackle this part, and together we could all slice up this 25 million pizza,
Right.
$25 million pizza pie. And we all walk away with a good portion of it.
Right.
So I look at it two different ways. There's a strategic partnership versus, and I don't want to say a true partnership, but where there's more of a connectivity of the individual versus it just being on the business side. Listen, I get in a partnership, I want everybody to win. But here's the key. When you get in a partnership, you got to make sure you're aligned. Some people will say stuff when you first enter it because it sounds good. Mm-hmm. Like I probably am not the normal person in the partnership. Like some people get in a partnership and they have this mentality of that for them to win, the other person has to lose per se, but they can't get as much as them in that partnership. So there's a mentality, like people believe that somebody has to lose for them to win. I go in a partnership, like I want my partner to make as much money as me or more. Mm-hmm. So I'm always trying to figure out like, how can we do more together? Mm-hmm. So if that's not aligned, then, it's a problem. Or they might have that mentality where, if the other person does more, then I'm going to lose. I'm always trying to figure out how we could all do more together. So yeah, I've been in partnerships with both. Like we're in some right now where we're totally aligned, like, and it's great. Like we're making money. Then I have others where they're in a partnership or it's something new to them. I don't want to say new, but they're in it, and the expectations and the goals are different. Even though you'll say, oh, you should have had a conversation ahead of time about the goals and expectations. And we did, but somewhere down the line, sometimes people say yes to stuff just because it's in front of them. They don't know how to say no, or they really want to be a part of it. And then when they realize what's involved in it, they're like, oh no. And then they don't meet the expectations. And that part becomes tricky because when you're in a partnership, depending on what it is and how it's working, there's both people's name on the line. So if I screw up, I'm not just screwing up my name, I'm screwing up the other person's name. And then if the other person screws up, it's the same thing. And then depending on the type of partnership you have, if it's a partnership where you both on Front Street, mm-hmm. you're soiling each other's name. But then you can have a partnership with somebody where you're the only one on Front Street and they're in the background. So when things go wrong, then you're the one that takes the full hit 100%. Right. So
the biggest takeaway that I would like you to walk away from this episode with is that there's value, that there's benefit to small businesses to partner with other small businesses, especially as you're trying to grow, because you can lessen part of the burdens that come with growth if you're able to find the right partner and leverage what they already have. And I'll give you an example. We recently submitted a bid on a large federal contract, and we were part of a team of 3 organizations, and there was one organization that led when it came to the proposal writing and the estimating. There was another organization that led in terms of identifying the personnel that would take the lead. And then there was another organization that led with the experience and the technical expertise that went into informing the proposal writing, the estimating, and the selection of the personnel. And so even though when we look at it, say that it's a $25 million opportunity.
25 mil.
Right. And
can't wait to get that one.
If you evenly distribute that, that's $8 million plus per organization.
I'm getting my marquee jet card. I'm upping my hours once we close that one. I'm flying private.
Right. And
you're ready for some new content.
For people who are hesitant to grow, because you're like, wow, I'm not even doing $1 million. How am I going to go from less than 1 million to 25 million? The risk is lessened when you're able to spread that across partners. And an example of that here at Johnson Security is that we often work as a subcontractor to larger security firms. And so in essence, they're like white labeling our services. Like for all intents,
they sell it and then they come to us. For all intents
and purposes, because like
they do the RFP.
The large firms will be like, don't talk to my clients. Everything has to go through me. And that's good until it doesn't work, until you can't find the representative from the large corporation until the
It
work
don't even
actually
have to be
has
large.
to
It
be
could be
done.
small. Like we work with partners, and they first of all they're of a different size because I don't believe in small business anymore. They're of similar scope and volume, right? They're an emerging business. And like you call them or text them when something is awry or you need to answer a question and they're ghosts. And I'm just like I know where you live. I can go knock on your door. Like, why aren't you calling me back? Why aren't you texting me back?
I see your truck.
Right. Like there's like somebody coming to the soapbox and my car is parked right out front and they're like, is Waleed here? And the staff is like, no. I'm like, don't you say no. I'm here. Like they see my car out front. Like it's only one door in, one door out. They see me come in. They ain't see me go out. I'm like, yeah, what's up? So it doesn't matter. Like size is kind of irrelevant in that. It's the people. It's the people and it's the culture. So do they have a culture of, oh, when stuff goes wrong or, you know, we kind of just do stuff where it's okay versus a culture where like, no matter what goes wrong, we're going to take 100% ownership, right? I used to have a partnership where they tell me all the time, we want to make sure you get top service. But what we got over time started at the top. Now we at the bottom. And then you'd be like, well, it's X, Y, and Z. Like, we need to address this. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, like, I don't understand what's going on. And it would just be the blame game. I'm like, you can't blame your team members if you're the partner, right? So if using this example, you said the large business. And if you talk to somebody in upper management, and they're like, well, you know, one of our managers didn't do X, Y, and Z. They can't blame them. Because they're responsible for them. You hired them. They're part of your team. So then you just got to be like, we didn't do this right. Let me fix it. Like playing the blame game is the worst thing. The worst. That would be like, oh, I'm sorry. That's wrong. It's Sean's fault. She should have done X, Y, and Z. It's my fault. At the end of the day, the buck stops with me. And it starts with me at the box. I hired everybody there. So something goes wrong, it's me. Somebody did something and the client got upset and I walked outside to the client. I was like, I'm so sorry. This should have happened. It should have been on time. We should have did the complete service. Sorry you had to make 2 trips back. The order's 100% on us. I can't say, oh, it's so-and-so's fault or it's that person's fault because they didn't fold it fast enough or they didn't clean it good enough or they didn't write it's on me. I hired them. It's a partnership. People want to get this twisted and be like employer, employees. That's another form of a partnership.
What would you say, like, based on your experience, what are the biggest benefits you've gotten from having partnership?
One is the increased amount of exposure. So almost literally for free, we've got exposed to someone else's client base and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Very little effort and probably no dollars involved. Because they email their client base, we email ours. And it's like, well, now we do this service. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, cool. So the increased exposure is tremendous. And that's just talking about sending out an email to your client base or text or whatever. We're not even talking about on the other side, cross-promoting on social or, you know, sending out different promotional or advertising materials, whether it's print, you know, it's handed out or it's mailed out, whatever it is, or doing some kind of cooperative advertisement. Mm-hmm. Now, if something cost us, I don't know, like $500 before to market, and then we're marketing sneaker cleaning, dry cleaning, and laundry. Well, it's a third of what it's a third. It's the services are broken into thirds. Say, well, that cost us $500. If we're advertising the sneakers and, you know, we had this partnership, you want to get down with this next one we run out? Sure. So now my cost is only 2/3, where before I was paying the whole thing because we're breaking it into thirds. So now I'm saving money and making more money at the same time because I'm getting exposed to more people.
Right. And I'll add that on the security side, when we work with other suppliers, other security firms, it increases the breadth of products and services that we offer. So for example, when we work with our colleagues at MSA, Michael Stapleton and Associates, their security focus is very different. Their explosive detective canine services, bomb threat assessment, and the like. And so now we can add, from the work that we do together, we can add that to our business resume, our portfolio. So we can say, yes, we have experience providing explosive detective canine services for clients. And it's as a result of the partnership that we have. So if there's a part of the market that you're trying to capture and you don't offer those products or services independently, find a partner who does, and then market your services, co-promote, and then you now have that experience under your belt and you can grow from there. I was just going to jump to Merriam-Webster, definition of partnership. There are 3 quick definitions that stand out. The state of being a partner. Number 2, a legal relation but existing between 2 or more persons contractually associated as a joint principles in a business. Or a relationship resembling a legal partnership and usually involving close cooperation between parties having specified and joint rights and responsibilities. Now, I'm going to go there.
Joint rights and responsibilities?
Yeah, when I think of those definitions, it leads me to think about being in a relationship with a significant other. Not like a business partner, but a romantic.
That's a business. I don't care what nobody says.
I mean, it is a business.
You're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, it's a business. Oh, I'm in love. All right, let me know how long that lasts for. When all that fuzzy-duzzy stuff wear off, then what? You got bills to pay. You got family. You got whatever. You got things you got to take care of.
Don't die.
Right. Like that fuzz. Okay, I'm in love. Okay, I'm in love. All right. So what happens afterwards? Like that lasts for like 10 minutes.
Some of us in business spend more time thinking about our
I'm in love
personal relationships than we do our personal partnerships than we do with our business partnerships. And it's something that we just want you to be mindful of, not to take for granted, that the status and the quality of people with whom you have partnerships is very important. And the same type of values that drive you to or away from someone in a personal relationship should be similar values that you consider when you're looking to partner with someone in business.
Well, that's relative. Because you said they should have similar values when they look for a partnership in their personal relationship like they do in business. Mm-hmm. So, but when if their values in their personal might be on a different level than the person in their business, or someone might say their values or whatever you said, perspective, when it comes to their personal relationship is kind of, I don't know, I don't want to be foul, but it's kind of low, right? At low standards. So then you carry that into the business, then it's the same thing. It's going to be low. So the business not going to grow. The business not going to produce quality service. The business not going to have high customer service because those same standards is just being carried across the board. It goes back to what we talked about before, where people are like, oh, I hate my job and this, that, and the third. And then they're like, oh, I'm going to start my own business. But what most people don't understand is how you treat your job is how you would treat your business.
Very often.
Because at your job, let's be clear, there's someone like pseudo holding you accountable for it. There's someone is like, okay, well.
And that's why a lot of people hate their job.
Right.
Because they don't want to be
held accountable. You get paid, blah, 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 blah. Now you leave and start your own. Who's holding you accountable now?
Lord, this is a whole nother episode in and of itself.
But that's the same thing with a partnership, right? So there's things in a partnership your partner might hold you accountable for, but technically you should be holding yourself accountable for in the partnership. That's what makes the partnership so great, because you both are bringing value to the table, right? If I'm weak in one thing and you strong in that, in the partnership, that's what you focus on. The thing that you're weak in, I focus on, and that makes the partnership more valuable. So you could build more with more entities or more people involved. But if you go into it and it's just like, yeah, they're going to do most of the work. Or, yeah, I'm kind of in there and I'm kind of riding their coattail and I'm going to kind of just lay back. Now, you got, like, you in a partnership, let's be clear. I go harder in stuff that I'm in a partnership with than I do by myself. Because I'm like, I got somebody else who's accountable, who's not even accountable. I'm accountable to them, but they're depending on what I do and not do. So in my partnerships, I'm sweating over those. Stuff I do solo, I just be like, shit, man. I hold myself accountable, but I'm just like, it's a different level of accountability. Because you're doing it yourself. I could throw the chips in the mall and be like, I ain't doing that no more, right? Because it's just me. But if I'm in a partnership, that person might say, hey, this is my sole income. Or this is how I feed my kids. So I can't be slacking. Because then little Johnny ain't going to eat.
Well, depends if
What?
little Johnny is your little Johnny.
Well, he's not my little Johnny, but I'm just saying it's my partner's little Johnny.
I'm just saying,
but
how you going to care about little Johnny more than little Johnny's mama or daddy?
No, but
that's something that.
No, I'm using an example.
No, I understand. I respect.
They care 100%. But me as the partner has to care the same way and vice versa. They got to care the same way too for whatever I got doing. Like, I got little Rufus that I got to feed kibbles and bits to or take to the dog vet because I don't have kids like they got little Johnny. They still got to be like, those are the things that's important. You got to look at your partnership and say, what are the things that are important to the partnership? Mm-hmm. And then what are the things that are important to my partner? Mm-hmm. And you gotta know and value those things also. And hold yourself accountable to support your partner. And your partner should be doing the same thing for you, whether it's your partner in business or your partner in life.
Great point.
From my perspective, I'm always open to seeing what's possible. And by spending time with other people, being engaged with other organizations, I'm often made aware of different things that I wouldn't think of on my own.
Right.
So I would encourage anyone, if you're established and you have good relationships, that's a great time to start thinking about partnerships. You don't have to be a multi-million-dollar business. You don't have to have 500 employees. You can be a solopreneur and find another solopreneur that has a different spin on business. Like, for example, the Brown Wynn Agency, our friends Tina Wynn and Tony Brown. Tony was focused on the event logistics and production side. Tina was focused on the public relations side, but they both worked in the event space. And so they had separate businesses, but found that repeatedly clients were looking for a combination of the services that they offered independently. They got together and started a business, the Brown Wynn Agency. So now they do event production, which includes the logistics, which includes the public relations and the communication and script writing piece. And they've been in that entity for over 20 years now. So,
Right.
You can start out very small where you are. Look at who's in your network. Look at what you offer, what you don't offer, and start from thinking about how you can leverage partnerships from there.
Right. And going back to the timing part of it, I don't think there's any definitive time. It's when the need arises or the opportunity arises and you create that partnership. And in the other piece, we didn't talk about, we kind of talked about competition, competitors earlier on. I'm talking about the mindset and how people view it. But here's the other thing. Partnerships could be great, especially when there's maybe a lot of competition, or you or some of your other colleagues who are in the industry might be feeling some heat from some other competitor, good or bad, who's just doing things a certain way. Maybe they have more resources than you, they have more funding, whatever. So they're able to take a different approach. Or maybe they're running their thing at a loss purposely because they want to drive a race to the bottom so they could deplete you cause you to run out of cash. Like, that is a business strategy that a lot of people don't realize. Like, they see somebody lower their price to acquire more customers, and then they're like, well, we need to lower our price so we don't lose customers. But that could be their strategy all along to get you to lower it because they understand the economics, and you're thinking you're just going to lower it because you're like, we'll get more customers, but you're losing money, and they've got a bigger war chest than you, so they can continue to burn cash longer than you, and their goal is to just wait for you to run out of cash trying to compete with them on price.